Well, hi there. Greetings, my fellow Americans and lovely foreigners. Probably don't like that word, right? It's like Asian people no longer want to be called Orientals. I remember that in an episode of Seinfeld when George's dad, the great Jerry Stiller, um, was using that term. And he said, Dad, they don't like to be called that anymore. So that's cool. My name is Jack Willard, Worldwide Ramblings for a Wednesday, the 7th of January, 2026. Got my new calendar from the bank. It's bigger this year. Old people love calendars. We don't care that there's, space for calendars and stuff on our phone and notepads. We don't like to write on a computer unless we're doing a text or an email. We still want to have our yearly planners, very important. Mine is downstairs, and our calendars. Haven't written anything on this one. I really put most of the stuff in my planner, but I need it for upstairs here to remind myself of what day it is. That's what happens. Neo, he's going to give us a run of the commercials. I don't know why you get so many, Neo. I think it's because you're on a discount cable service and they're sticking in local inserts. I don't know. But it is, what's the temperature? 38, huh? No, that's not. Is that right? Could be right. Sometimes they don't update it. So I'm thinking no, it's not that warm right now. 37. Okay. So it's going to be warmer than it has been, which is good for the kitties outside that I beg to come in, and they so want to come in, but they don't do it. They don't do it. So we have this little house that we were using for Roger Collins, and he's just disappeared. We'll think we'll never see him again, and one day he'll just stroll up the stairs, in the back. That's what he'll do. Did I get a haircut, Neo? Is the sky blue? Is my background yellow and other colors? Did I get a haircut? No, the thing would have been, you got a haircut. Hair by Vito Corleone from Classy Cuts Hair Salon. Classy Cuts Hair Salon. I was going to put a little paint on, but I just didn't have time to do that tonight. I did put a little hide the blotches powder. I'm not ashamed to admit it, Richard Lyon. I know you wear a little lipstick from time to time. I think I know what you're saying, Richard. What's up? Well, we've got a old ceiling. It's been here forever. Secondary ceiling, not the main ceiling. Helen McDonald from Australia. Hi, Jack and all. Miles Wright. I used to say Detective Miles Wright, didn't I? Before I knew you were a real estate. What's the proper term for what you occasionally sometimes do, which is estate, not planning, estate preparation. Estate preparation. That sounds okay. Hello, Paulette. Your haircut looks great. No, it's in that early stage, Hi, Jack and family. Been so hot here. Yeah, that's what I was being told by, I believe, Helen. Like it was 105 when we did our little pop on just to promo this from Karen's bedroom with the picture of the weeping maiden who was here from the very start of this channel in January of 2016. January of 2016. I may have physically put the channel on the air in the last days of December, but I don't think we did uh, uh, more than one video um, before 2016 rolled in. So 10 years ago today, give or take a few days, I started this channel, the Virtual Church of the Depressed. I can't even remember it anymore because I usually just stopped. I usually stop the Virtual Church of the Disillusioned, Depressed, and Downtrodden. I usually just say the Virtual Church of the Disillusioned. If I had it to do over, I probably would rename it. But at the time, I was calling it that for a specific reason, which I'll talk about later. So I was 59 years old, going on 60 in March, and now I'm 69 years old, going on 70. 10 years went by. I wasn't always broadcasting in the studio, but even early on I was, because then it was Andy's bedroom. That's Karen's son. And he had the trains behind me, and I was using his computer and his microphone, which wasn't all that great. And but I liked the train set that was behind me in those early videos, and I called myself Pastor Allen. So maybe I'll talk a little bit about that. But wow, oh, to be young again. And we have done videos in other parts of the house, including Karen's bedroom at one time. I think it might have been my bedroom at the time as well. But I needed more space and she needed more space, and I can't sleep with a bunch of cats and stuff like that. When I first got here, there was a dog that was sometimes sleep in the bedroom, a smelly dog. So at some point, we did the switcheroo, and Andy moved over there, the other side of the duplex, and I moved over here, which is the biggest room in the duplex. And then at some point, Brad, who's down there right now, moved in. Hi, Miss Carter. How are you? Nice, nice, nice. An executor. I see. So people pay you large sums of money when somebody needs to be dealt with. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Why is it that when people try something like that, they always they always end up in jail? They always get exposed. I mean, I'm sure it doesn't always happen that way. Obviously, if it's a spouse involved, whether it be the husband that's missing and they accuse the wife, or the wife that's missing and they accuse the husband, that's always the go to, that's always the go to. But it happened last year with one of the stars of Ghost Adventures, Aaron Goodwin. Nice guy. I like watching Aaron. I have to admit that, along with Zach and the other guys. But a nice guy who's been on Ghost Adventures for years, and his wife, who's home in, I think it's either in California, I think, not Nevada. Zach Bagans lives in Nevada. And but she fell in love with somebody else, and she heard about this guy that used to do this for a living and contacted him. It all blew up in her face. But in the meantime, this guy started to do extortion. He wanted hush money to keep quiet, and she bought into that. Long story short, not only was she plotting to kill the co-star of Ghost Adventures, she siphoned off a lot of their savings in the process. So, he doesn't get paid what Zach Bagans does, who's a multimillionaire, just signed another big deal. He gets paid okay, I'm sure, from the Discovery Travel Channel. They're all related there in that family. And next thing you know, she's arrested, and he's got to testify at her trial. And it was just sad to see. Sad to see. And now she's in jail for somewhere between 3 years and 15 years or whatever. And, he's going to be, he's going to be, he won't be leaving Ghost Adventures, I can tell you that. see what else they can get on the side when they're not taping as well, So if it's approved by Discovery Channel, Travel Channel. So yeah, those things never worked out. So you're a executor, not an executioner. I get it. So how often do you do that, Miles? Are there long breaks in between? Let's see here. Who else do we have? I think we've acknowledged everybody so far, but I got to go down further. Happy birthday, EP. Happy 91st birthday, EP. And let's see. Faustina. I don't know. It's all one word, too. Hello. Hi, where are you watching us from? No, it was handling estates for family members. Yes. A lot of work with no pay. What's that about, Miles? The worker is worth his hire. He's worth his hire. Oh no, I'm sorry. If it's a friend and they're paying you nothing, they ain't much of a friend. No, no, no. And don't say I do it for free because they may want to give you a love offering at the end, even then. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Seems to me you should get a taste, a nice big taste. Steven Spielich, howdy, Jack. I'm working on getting on here earlier. Well, you did pretty good. We're just about 11 minutes in, something like that. Let's see here. Yeah, 11:55 right now as I speak to you. Happy birthday, Elvis, 91 years old. If you conspiracy theorists are right, I don't know. Carol Cook, happy birthday, Elvis. Jack, you look great. Hi to you and Karen. Thank you. Thank you so much. So 29 watching right now. 5 likes. Hit the like button. Please subscribe if you happen to be brand new. We've been up with our prescriptions. I was going to say, I've been down with my prescriptions. I'm starting to think statins are not for me, You ever see this Dr. Reese on the reels on Facebook? I don't know what kind of a doctor he is. I haven't really I've just found him. So I haven't started to study him, but he says a lot of interesting things. And he's got this really cool voice. It's a reassuring voice, definitely a broadcast voice. Dr. Reese, like Reese's peanut butter cups, which he would be totally against. He had the top 10 foods you should never eat. And guess what? Number 1 was Neo. Neo, what was number 1 in the foods you should never eat? Tell me. It's a brand. It's a brand. It's got a real. It's from a brand that and the name is known to everybody. I'll give you a hint if you can't get it. Don't look it up. Hi, Jack. Nice haircut. Very handsome. Well, thank you, Nancy. B17. No, B5377. Well, I had to get it done eventually. Saw my man Vito today, and we had a nice conversation. He was a little late. He was out there with Mrs. Vito. And so I said, I'm more than happy to wait for you as you get back from your DWI hearing. But that was just a joke on my part. That was just a joke. Let me have a little water. I'm feeling parched, Marty Greco. How you doing? How you doing, Marty? Are you back up to snuff? You shouldn't do that snuff. Don't do that snuff. And definitely don't go into snuff filmmaking. But you know that already. I never know why I say the things I say. It's probably that I have a screw loose and I don't even have a toolkit, Nonstick Pam is here. Pam Donnelly. Hi, Jack and all. Welcome to you. Carol Cook says, happy birthday, Elvis. Yes. And so nice to have you there. Tina. I'll call you Tina, the name in the middle. Okay. It would be easier for me. And you don't have to tell me where you're from, but we're always curious. No snuff for me, but I am better. Praise God. Amen. You've made a a nice recovery, but you're still going to take that rest of that time off just to get 100%, right? You're not going to go back to work early, are you? Nancy from Texas. Yes. So it's either chilly in Texas or as hot as Hades. Which is it there, Nancy? It's either, like by now, I don't know, let's say 81 degrees, or it's 41. Very hot, huh? Yeah. That's interesting. I'm hoping some of this hotness comes this way. The kitties would love it. The snow would melt. It's still hanging out there, still there. It's diminished because we had some rain last night. We had some rain last night. Pam says I have been sick, sinus infection, oh dear, and thyroid issues. Can't get my thyroid level out. Can't get my thyroid level out or up or down. I don't know. Cold here, says Neo. Well, Neo's in Alaska. He has been seen in that show, Life Below Zero. He has a pack of dogs and a sled, the whole 9 yards. Huh. Cold here, but plenty warm inside, though. Well, you've got the money, Just jack it up to 82 degrees in the house. Why don't you? We cannot afford that luxury, really. No, there's plenty of other things that gets wasted on. Overbuying. This is not me, folks. This is not me. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say these personal things. Statins aren't for anyone. Yeah, I'm beginning to think that, Paulette. Dr. Reese, whatever kind of doctor this guy is, I think you'll like him if you see him on Facebook, says, it wasn't that many years ago where there was no such thing as Alzheimer's. No such thing as Alzheimer's. He's kind of hinting that the statins may have something to do with it. So and I've heard so many other doctors talk about cholesterol is not the problem. Cholesterol is not the problem. Don't become obsessed with your cholesterol levels, and certainly eat the eggs. And of course, Dr. Atkins used to say bacon and eggs every day, but bacon is not really good for you. We know that. We know that. My thyroid is too high. I just had a thyroid test, and I guess I did pretty well. One time it tested, uh, one time it's tested, and it's too low. Next time it's tested. This time it's too low, and I'm feeling draggy. Draggy. Like you're going to work in one of those late night clubs. You got your head achy and very, very tired. So what do they recommend you do for this thyroid reading that you got? Hi, Jupiter's Realm. Good evening. If you're watching live, hello, replay crowd. Always good to see you here for our 10th anniversary. Few Bob Joyce tidbits. Is he having a birthday? Is he having a birthday? No, that was a few months back. He was what, 73, 74? I can't keep up. He has 2 birthdays. A lot of people have that. They have the birthday that they want you to think that's their age, and then they have their real birthday. Dr. Jack. Well, no, I'm just talking about Dr. Reese, and I don't know if this guy is a real doctor, but I think you'd still find him interesting on Facebook Reels, Yes, a new haircut. I was by to see Vinny at 2 p.m. Vito. I don't know why I'm calling him Vinny. He's not Vinny the Chin. Is Richard Lyon still here? Richard Lyon knows all about Vinny the Chin from his days in Queens, New York. So I'm just sharing what I've seen in other places, but Robin Roman is obviously one of these conspiracy theorists, She probably would claim to have seen Jim Morrison in the grocery store. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's right. You're right. It is that time, isn't it? Funny how time flies. Funny how time flies. So one of our members went to Household of Faith on Sunday, and other people have been telling me stuff about Household of Faith or what's going on with Pastor Bob Joyce. Little more info on the schedule for concerts. The first one is going to be in April in Arkansas, and it's going to be at a big church. Is the new thing that we're told. It's going to be at a big church, and it's going to be a benefit concert. A benefit for who? I do not know, but it's not going to be for Pastor Bob Joyce personally. There are people that try to say that all the time, but all the money, usually like for Coleman, Alabama, for his CDs, his pastor's salary that he's more than entitled to, all is deferred to the church, Household of Faith. So that's the deal there. What does that mean, Teresa Panel? How would I ever decipher that sentence? I don't know what it means. Deborah McGinty. Deb from a small town in PA. I see. You're in the witness protection program, and you're protecting yourself. Your real name is not really Deborah, is it? Some people, they get called something like, oh, I don't know, John Burroughs, Jon, John Burroughs. And you became Deborah McGinty. Small town in Pennsylvania. Well, I'm most close to Matamoros, Pennsylvania, Deborah. I could get there pretty quick. And then, of course, is beautiful Milford. That Milford Diner's nice there. Artsy community, big gay community there. And then there's Dingman's Ferry. Ha 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 ha. How funny. Dingman's Ferry. Don't think I'm trying to be anti-gay and say something, that's between you and God, not me. Not me. And you keep going up the road, and eventually you find yourself in Scranton, then Wilkes-Barre. We'll be in Wilkes-Barre April 11th. Come see us. April 11th, we'll be at the casino in Wilkes-Barre for Jimmy Sturr and his orchestra and the Polka family and their big room there. It was a blast last year with Polka Sean and Polka Norma. And it's just like a 3-hour deal. Now, they do have a Ruth Chris steakhouse there, which is Sean Hannity's favorite steakhouse. I don't know if we'll get to go to it because, when we're with Polka Sean and Polka Norma, they're driving. We go with them. I park in his driveway, and we all go in the same vehicle. If you say insurance and vehicle, you're probably from the South. But I love Pennsylvania. It's just a special, special place. Tina Swatsworth is from Pennsylvania. I can say that because she publicly disclosed it now with her husband, Chris, and Katrisa, her daughter. So, yeah. What are statins? I could look it up. To get, something more than I'd be able to give you. What are statins? Why am I got that little tickle? Statins are a common prescription medication that lowers cholesterol by reducing its production in the liver, helping to prevent plaque buildup in arteries and significantly decreasing the risk of heart attacks and strokes. So this is a very pro explanation. They work by blocking an enzyme the liver uses to make cholesterol, making it clear out more bad HDL cholesterol and sometimes raising good HDL cholesterol while also reducing artery inflammation. For most people, benefits outweigh the risks. Are they going to talk about the risks? But common side effects include muscle pain, with rare risk of liver tissues, liver issues, not liver tissues, or increased blood sugar. Interesting. They reduce liver production, increase removal. They help the liver, in other words, remove existing LDL. They reduce inflammation. Um, and they lower the HDL, the cholesterol, and the triglycerides. I didn't have a lot of success lowering my triglycerides. Now, triglycerides can be a problem if they're too high. I think Ozempic did more for my triglycerides. That's how it seems, because they're lower now than they ever were on the statins, what have you. Not that I'm, not, I'm still on it, but I'm thinking of losing it. I will get more research. I remember my cardiologist here in down the road said, there's good and there's bad involved with statins. Um, and let's see here. They can cause muscle pain, digestive issues, liver enzyme changes. You gotta keep an eye on your liver blood work, increased blood sugar. Um, I don't think I found that to be true. That's for type 2 diabetes. So that's an example there, Marty. Marty. Let's go down further here. Well, there's Elaine Peterson, who likes to ride the Elaine likes to ride the train. I do too. Marianne Rossi, not Donna Rossi. Hello, Jack and all. Welcome to our 10th anniversary of this channel of Worldwide Ramblings. Is certainly not 10 years old. We didn't do live shows until 2022. But yeah, I wish we had started sooner. But we've been doing this for 10 years. Example was taking statins years ago and my legs stopped working while crossing a busy street. Took myself off them. Big pharma. I get an ad every time you do. Every time you do, Neo. Huh. I would think it'd be slowing down now. Slowing down. I sure hope that's true. See, in the replay, they stop and they pick up where we were, that you don't miss anything. How do you say vehicle? Vehicle, obviously. Well, vehicle, insurance. That's how we say it. That's how we say it. So I can always tell when somebody has moved to New York and they're from the South, because they say insurance and they say, I'm fixing to go do something. And they say vehicle, but it's a funny way to say it because, if you think back to Meet the Parents, with that skinny little cop that pulled over um, Ben Stiller, he says, "Stay in your vehicle." That was a great movie. Robert De Niro is a great actor. Obviously, as a person, he's crazy go nuts these days. He's crazy go nuts. This Trump derangement syndrome. But I'm not going to say anything about that or today's events till later. Let's keep it light, keep it light, keep it light. Unless, people start to talk about today's events. They keep changing my medicine, says Pam Donnelly. And if they don't get it straightened out, I have to go see a specialist. Okay. So there you go. The hair grows fast, whatever is left of the hair. In a month, it won't look like this or less. So you pay Marty $13.99 and you get no ads on YouTube at all. $13.99 a month for YouTube Premium. Okay. I'm getting lots of ads. I already had 3 within the last 5 minutes. This is not helpful, I wish they wouldn't do quite that many, but I'm very thankful to YouTube for a worldwide voice, though. So, um, as I say, usually in January, I think it would slow down. Teresa, who was at Household of Faith this past Sunday, says that Pastor Bob did a lot of older songs. He sat down and he said, "Happy New Year 2026. Didn't think I would make it this long." Well, Pastor Bob, 74 is not this long. 74, that's Dick Van Dyke has lived 26 years more than that. Thank you for that, Teresa. Panel. What do you mean so long? William Shatner's doing the unexplained and he's 94 years old. He's got a gut. That makes me hopeful. Yeah. He says, I got a wonderful life. I just don't want to leave it. As long as his life has been, I got a wonderful life. I got people that love me. I'm working, doing what I love. People love the unexplained. It's a great show. And he's still got it. He's doing other things too. He's doing other things too. So that is a telltale. It's like another example of his subtly, like he's preparing you for something. But I don't know what you meant about the benefit thing. I was told that it was a benefit concert and that it's in a large church. Now, what am I getting wrong, in your opinion, Teresa Panel? Where in PA is everyone from? I'm from Scranton. Well, then there's no excuse for you not to come to that casino. Tickets at the door. I don't know, what is it, $25 to get in, something like that, to see Jimmy Sturr and the orchestra and the Polka Family, and meet Jack Willard. What else could you want? That's a week before Polka Weekend, which I don't think I'm going to make this year. I've been to 8 in a row, and the budget's too tight this year, and we'll see what goes on with Karen's issues and what have you. And I don't think so, not this year. I need someone to go with me to Texas. And it probably should be a guy, but somebody that I would be able to get along with. So far, you're staying weird, Neil. You're staying weird. I know what you're trying to infer. Um, like he wouldn't sell his version of the pens. Is that what you're saying? You would drive to Texas or fly? Yeah, there's a big question. I don't even have the star on my license yet, but I just have to go up to Port Jervis, New York, because here in this city, you'll be standing out in the cold forever. It's so busy. Not that I live in a big city, but benefit is canceled, a little birdie said. What kind of a birdie was that? I love little birdies. Benefit is canceled. That's not the way to begin a year. And it's certainly not, what the heck is going on here? So do a concert in Little Rock anywhere. Anyway, there's plenty of big places in Little Rock, isn't there? They have big concerts in Little Rock. So when did this birdie? Did you tell me this in an email? Because I don't think I got that email. Just make me say something, and now I got to wipe off the. I don't even have a towel here. I'm not prepared. How about a dryer sheet? I'll wipe my face with a dryer sheet. What the heck is a dryer sheet doing up here? I can tell you, when I came and brought my laundry up here, I found a dryer sheet, and for some reason I laid it over there. I clean off the egg on my face, but I don't want to. I don't want to take off the makeup because then I'll be all blotchy again. All blotchy again. Well, we April would be the latest to have the first concert, so there's gonna be another location, right? That's what'll happen. What the heck is going on here? Nobody told me that. All right. I can roll with the punches. I can roll with the punches. I can. I can. Well, here he is, the Tennessee Titan himself. Good evening, Jack, and everybody. Happy 10th anniversary of this channel, the virtual church of the disillusioned, depressed, and downtrodden. And nice haircut, looking sharp. I think it looks too short. You know me. I still got that hippie in me, and you do too. You do too. I used to kid you. You have two looks. You have stud muffin look, the short hair look, and everything. We have a picture of that, or you have the longer hair where, you could conceivably join the cast of Moonshiners, which has an opening or two. I just saw my Moonshiners. Season 15 finally debuted last night on Discovery. And I was so happy. I know this is hard since I've never even still had a drop of moonshine. I just love the cast, Mark and Digger and Tim Smith. But word is now Tim Smith will only be on some episodes, and then he's going to step away. That he's got health issues, so I hope that he makes a full recovery. But there's no sign of Mike and Jerry. They supposedly may have had a lot of their equipment confiscated, and so they're not being promoted. Um, so it's the main guys, and it was good episode. It was a good episode. And then they'll have their master distiller show, which is Mark Digger, and it was usually Tim Smith, and then Tickle. Tickle was on last night. Good to see Tickle again, and what's his name there? I know his name like I know my own. May try to make the birthday celebration tomorrow, huh? Why? You're saying things, Teresa, that um, I don't know whether you're joking or whether you're telling me the truth. Um, if there is a birthday celebration, I would think it would be very private. And if it's not very private, then this is definitely the year. This is definitely the year. They're just preparing us. But just the very fact that he said that I never thought I'd make it this long. 74, this is how he caught himself, or this is how he deliberately, like when he said, I can't slack. I've got to take care of business. TCB, TCB. He said that a few months ago. What the heck is Bob Joyce saying? I got to be taken. The real term is taking care of business. That's what Elvis does, That's what he used to say. I'm taking care of business. Now we say business, but that's another story. Um, it's like more preparation for something that's happening. So if you could find a costume of some sort, like I don't know, hedges, or some kind of foliage, and sneak around. Just move a little bit at a time, and then stand still so they think you're really supposed to be there, and find out what's going on in Benton, Arkansas, or is it somewhere else? Can somebody check and see if there's any special events at Mar-a-Lago tomorrow or Memphis? I don't know. I don't know. Just saying. Of course, he wants us to know. Well, he hasn't before. I mean, he's he's uh, he's been like the one Leon Russell song. He's been up on a tight rope, and he hasn't fallen into the net. And don't ever watch somebody do that without a net, because that they're stupid to do that. Why would you ever do that? No, I don't want somebody to die in front of my eyes. Happy 10th, Jack. Let's go 20 more. If he can do it, so can you. Yes, well, it's all in God's hands. Did your Bucky's actually open, Todd, yet? My son was telling me at Christmas time the line for Bucky's, I mean, to get into Bucky's was into the highway, spilling into the highway. They were hugging the shoulder, you know? I still have the beard, okay, because it's wintertime, right? It's almost white. I have earned it, yes. It's just that, so you're perfect then because Tim Smith is leaving Moonshiners. There's no sign of Mike and Jerry. We need a couple of extra cast members. And if if you don't make Moonshine, well, don't worry. Maybe they don't either. That's always a big controversy. They definitely have um, they're definitely moonshiners, but what's going on that show, we don't always know. They have legal moonshine through Sugarland Distillery. Sugarland Distillery has several of the recipes of Mark and Digger. So they're doing that. But what Tim Smith was saying, who's legal in the state of North Carolina and has been for a number of years now, he says by the time you get all the taxes and the tariffs he was talking about, he's making like 65 cents a jar profit. You can't do it. So the plot twist is that he's going to go back to the illegal side in Tennessee, Cobb County. So, well, I have to remember they're not all in Cobb County. That's Mark and Digger, various places, West Virginia, um, South Carolina. There's various crews are in different places, but sometimes they all come together, So I enjoy that, and it was nice to have my moonshiners back, and they'll be here till sometime in May. But these are shows they did starting last spring, so they've all moved on from those locations and what have you. But I think I've been watching it the whole time it's been on, and that's 15 seasons. Something that takes me away from Dark Shadows. Can you imagine? So let's see here. Robin Roman. Our Bucky's has no tables, nowhere. No, you can't sit in Bucky's. There's only one place you can sit. Well, there's dozens of places you can sit, but they're all in the bathroom. Yeah, you got your own hand sanitizer there and everything. The bathrooms look great. They don't want you hanging out. They don't mind if you hang out and even sleep in the parking lot if you have an RV. I think this is true, or you want to take a nap in your car. They're okay with that, but no, they don't want you sitting there. Get your stuff and you go on get. Go on get. If occasionally they might have a couple of folding chairs that you could buy, that the right on the folding chair it says, "Please do not sit here." So you go in and you get your pulled pork sandwich or your breakfast sandwich or your bakery item. There's 1,000 T-shirts. There's all kinds of chocolates and all kinds of novelties and what have you. You like beef jerky? I don't so much, but there are people that adore beef jerky, and they have plenty of that there. Not near me as of yet. Oh, I thought they were getting fairly close to you. We're waiting for one near Chattanooga soon. I feel like I am missing out. Yeah, there you go. Go to Chattanooga. I've only been through there, never really spent any time there. But yeah, Robin, there's no tables at Bucky's. There are definitely no restaurants, nothing like that. Just grab it and go. Grab it and go. And don't pull in an 18-wheeler or a box truck or anything like that unless you're making a delivery of sorts, because they will tell you to go on and get. It's a car stop, not a truck stop. You know what I mean? So I bet you there are truck drivers that park at the nearby truck stop and then Uber over to Bucky's because they want to have the Bucky's experience too. I don't think they have showers there. No showers at Bucky's. No, I don't think so. Huh. Does anyone watch the gorilla videos? So cute. Not too much for the gorilla videos, but I certainly, and you never know in this day of AI if what you're seeing is completely fabricated or not. You never know if it's completely fabricated or not, but I do enjoy the ones with the cockatoo bird, whatever kind of bird he is, and he's sitting there with a cat, and he says, "I love you, princess." Usually it's a white Persian cat, or it's a very pretty cat. "I love you, princess. Will you marry me?" And of course, the cat says, "Meow." And he says, "Why do you answer meow to everything I ask you?" And he eventually ends up telling the uh, the cat he hates him. He hates him. I watch those, and I watch several of the ladies who have terminal cancer and what have you. Um, Miles Wright in Taxi Cab Yellow, perfect, perfect. Hits the thanks button here for $10. For $10. Thank you, Miles, very much. Great way to start off 2025. I appreciate that, Miles. You executor, not executioner. Oh, I bet you got some interesting stories, though, of things you found in these houses. I know you can't really probably talk about them. But so the benefits not happening in May now with Pastor Bob Joyce. So we've got to get something else scheduled for May or April. April. It was supposed to be in April. So we got to get something else scheduled. Jack knows I love beef jerky. I do. Is this some kind of a veiled reference, Elaine Peterson? We may have to get out the ruler. The ruler. Even sometimes make my own. Really? You never say how old you are, Neo. I wonder. I wonder. You don't show me a picture of yourself. You show me your beautiful puppets, and they are beautiful. One of them is a thumbnail here. One of our videos is a thumbnail from Neo. Beaver nuggets, huh? I've heard of those. Boy. I think Richard Lyon is already gone. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Katina, look out. No beaver jokes. Forget it. Let's see here. What the hell has happened to Kelly Osbourne? Stay for that. Well, I did read up on it. Holy moly. I saw Kelly Osbourne recent picture and I said, what the heck has happened? Let me just check here. Well, look at that. Tim Spencer hits the Cash App for $10. For $10. So thank you, Tim. That's not the first time you've done that, and I appreciate it very, very much. Jupiter's Realm for looking slick in 26. How's that? Looking slick in 26. Thank you for that. $10 on the Cash App. Let's see. Reddit has sent me something about abandoned 1970s houses because they know I love those abandoned houses videos on YouTube and other places, from Big Ben's and that British. Well, there's more than one British guy. There's a bunch of them. And there's this cool mansion up in Sullivan County, which was owned by some pervert that was a well, he had so many things that he did. He designed beautiful curtains, and he was a painter and all kinds of things. And he then just disappeared one day, left everything in the house, including a coffin in the living room. But it was empty because he had buried his lover after the spring thaw came. Supposedly he died in a kitchen fire, but there doesn't seem to be any damage to the kitchen. So maybe he fixed all that up. And but the coffin was still in the living room, and cluttered stuff and stuff they had to keep blurring out. It was the most blurry abandoned house that and there's been like 3 separate, explorers that have come there. Everything from a Buddhist room to a, Mr. Gray room, if you know what I mean. So there you go. Todd Bradshaw hits the Cash App. $30 for kitty treats and or Meow Mix. Yeah, they've had Meow Mix. They kind of like the cheaper stuff. The guys next door feed them, high-end stuff from Chewy's. They spend a lot of money, and they have a few cats in the house, and they would and probably invite. They set it up so that all 4 kittens and mama kitten would be trapped, and they went and got all their shots and what have you. And of course, they got spayed or neutered, depending on whether we're talking about Quentin or Millicent from Dark Shadows. So, and then there's Josette Dupre, and Nicholas Blair, my favorite. He's all gray and he's so friendly. In fact, Quentin is getting very friendly with Karen, but not to me. He doesn't know me well enough. But he rolls around on his back, and she gets to tickle his belly, and he likes that. These are wonderful cats, and we beg them to come in, especially when it's cold, but they're just not ready to do it. So as I've said before, we have the Roger Collins house, and he's just gone God knows where, hopefully back to his house. And we heat up this pad. Karen does it like at 6 o'clock, and then at midnight, I'm like the night guy. So I go and heat it up again, and they're all there, and I feed them, and then I leave it to them as to who's going to go in there and keep warm via that heating pad. I don't know if all 5 of them can fit in there, but I know that they seem to take turns almost going in there. I don't know. So that's, we do the very best we can do for them. That's all I can tell you. So thank you. Cash App is it's been such a blessing to me. I got a lot of thank yous for 2025 to make. Um, and even when we've had months when there's low views, that's kind of been like a safety net. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. My Cash App handle. So again, here we have Todd, we have Tim Spencer, we have Jupiter's Realm, and we have Elaine Peterson. Sent you $10 for the 10-year anniversary. Thank you so much, Elaine Peterson. She's a frequent giver. And back to live stream. And again, thank you, Miles, for hitting the thanks button. Susan Carter, I bought 4 heated cat houses from for my barn cats. So you have a barn on your property. And so tell me about a heated cat house. Does it hold only 1 cat? How much does a heated cat house cost? Not that we can afford the utilities on it, but I'm curious. I'm curious. Let me see. Um, I mean, there's igloos on the property next door where they have hay and everything like that. But when it's cold, you know, and Media Guy 56, lowercase letters, the number's 56, Media Guy 56. If you don't have it, you have to go to the Google store and load Cash App, which is a green icon with a dollar sign, and they will access, you have to register your checking account, then you can receive and send money. You can even pay bills with Cash App. I've had it years now, and I've never had a problem with Cash App. So that is Media Guy 56. Well, Jody Smith is here and hits the thanks button for $2. Thank you, Jody Smith. Thank you very much. Evening, Jack. Just got off work. That sounds about right. Yeah, this is the time. And they can hold multiple cats, and heating is equal to charging your phone. Really? That is shocking. So, see what we have a round thing that Karen puts or I put in the microwave. We take it out of its little cover and we put it in the microwave for about 5 minutes and 15 seconds, then put it back in there and then put it in the center, push it back a little bit towards the back of the cat house. Uh, so she does it around 6 and I do around midnight, but still by 4 or 5 in the morning, that's wearing off and there's nobody around. Oh, Andy could might be around, but he won't do it. Well, it depends upon the dehydrators, says Neo. You are the strangest. Because I have to, you have to come with a decoder ring. I've, they used to have those in the 60s, some kind of a decoder ring. And I think we need a Neo decoder ring. Cost was $55 each. Well, that's not bad, and you say it can hold up to 4 cats. Huh, interesting. I don't think, they'd all go in there, so if there was just a couple, I don't know if, I don't know if we would get more than 1 to go in there. I usually see 1 coming out. I'm listening while doing Catrice's stuff for bed. I had her music playing. When she heard you talking, Jack, she fussed a little. So, not that guy again. Not that guy again. Come on, Ma. There's all kinds of choices out there. I turned the music off and she's happy listening to you. Really? Well, hi, Catrice. I'm so happy. Hi, Catrice. God bless you. Big God bless you. Wow. Mine, where am I? Oh, it's Neo. This could be confusing. Mine have temperature dial. I set it for beef, and it tends to take a day or two. Are you talking? Are we back to beef jerky? Huh. Jack, I firmly believe that this year is going to be a revelation in regards to Pastor Bob Joyce and is going to confirm what people have believed for years. Now, this isn't one of those prophecy things, right? This is just a feeling in your gut. I don't know what to say about. See, the thing about um, what was his name? Kim Clement. His name, Kim, plenty of people have guys have the name Kim. Often they could be of Asian descent, but not always. Kim was not of Asian descent. And his daughter went to George Magazine Live, the first 2 George Magazine Lives. Um, that's all I'm going to say. And uh, she sings, and she does, I guess, some of what her father would do. But with Kim Clement, I would see him. I guess he had his own show at one point, but I would see him not a daily show. I would see him on the Trinity Broadcasting Network, usually at one of the TBN crusades or at the Praise the Lord program, wherever they happen to be, because they have so many studios, whether it be not Arlington, Texas, but the one, Irving, Texas. And then headquarters was in Santa Ana, California, and I'd see him there, and he would usually have a prophecy. He would usually have a prophecy. But say you have a daily broadcast that you do, a daily broadcast. Is it reasonable to expect the Holy Spirit to fit into your broadcast demands? Um, so if someone is saying, "Thus saith the Lord," that's a really big thing. And I would have to be sure and know that I know that I know, and they would probably say I do know that I know that I know. That's all I'm gonna say. It just The idea that the Holy Spirit would fit into your broadcast schedule. It's like what happens with the Word of Knowledge at the end of the 700 Club. Do they still do that? I haven't seen that show in a long time. But I remember one of the hosts that was leaving, who was an actress before that, and when it came time on the last show, and Pat Robertson turned to her and said, "What's the Lord showing you?" She wasn't having it anymore. She said, "Well, I just want to pray for such and such and such and such," which told me that she probably had felt um, pressure to come up with something that really she wasn't feeling in her heart. Um, and you can never prove those kind of things because it's always Joe in Missouri right now. God is healing you from so and so. You never really get verification, usually not, and so you never know. You never know. Richard and Lindsay Roberts, you know, kind of the same thing. I did like them, and I still watch a little bit of them on Facebook. They have a program, and she just turned 70. I'll be turning 70. Um, so I never would want to come against anything the Holy Spirit is doing. I'm just saying that that's an honest wonderment of mine, that someone that's doing constant videos on YouTube has a fresh prophecy all the time. Because I don't know, it would seem the Holy Spirit's got a lot on his plate, but you know what I'm saying. What do you think, Gloria Drummond? Hi there. She's talking to Todd with one D, but I think there's two. Don't take one of his D's away. I was hoping in school, Gloria, that the teacher would take some of my D's away, but they never did. And sometimes it went to the letter after E, and I wasn't happy about that. But I deserve no better. I'm not crazy. I know that I refused to learn the new math. I'm still refusing. I've been receiving tons of Elvis Pastor Bob stuff on my phone. Love it, says Robin Roman. Like what kind of stuff, Robin Roman? Um, Todd laughs, and I'm never sure what you're laughing at. Like I'm with anybody because it goes so fast, and you could be talking about something Gloria said. I never knew very much about Kim Clement. I just got a feeling, Gloria, he was the real deal. I have to tell you that. I got a feeling he was the real deal. And with other prophecy teachers, I leave it in the hands of the Lord because I don't know unless he gives me confirmation in my spirit. That's Pentecostal talk, confirmation in my spirit. Um, but he did. Oh, let me get this right on Kim Clement. He did predict the presidency of Donald Trump many years ago and did predict 2 terms. So probably a lot of people said in 2020, well, he was wrong about that. No, he wasn't. 2 terms. Trump speaks out loud sometimes about things that roll around in his head, and it can be terrible when he starts talking about a third term. People are just waiting for him to say that kind of stuff. So I won't talk about the sad events of today yet, but at the end, I believe I will. You're free at any time, though. I've been receiving tons of Elvis Bob Joyce stuff, so yeah, I'm curious as to what. Um, I hear the flu bug is going around. Well, don't let it come around here, Elaine. Don't. I'm going to sing that song to it if I even see it in the distance. Don't come around here no more. Don't come around here no more. Let's see here. I've got too many tabs open. Tom Petty, right? I loved I loved Tom Petty. Was that Living on a Dream? Love that song. Here Comes My Girl. Great song. Hey, you don't come around here no more. Whatever you're looking for, don't come around here no more. I've given up. I've given up. I've given up on waiting any longer. I've given up on this love. Getting stronger. I don't feel you anymore. You darken my door. Whatever you're looking for, don't come around here no more. Oh, yes, Tom Petty. Tom Petty. My niece passed away. Oh, that's terrible. Monday from after fighting a bout of the flu. Really? She was 55. Oh, that's so young. So sorry, Miss Carter. So sorry, Susan. Really, really am. Did it turn into pneumonia or she took the antibiotics and what have you? Because even this Dr. Reese on Facebook that's saying statins are not your friends. And oh, I didn't tell you the rest of the foods on the list. Or did I tell you any? I didn't. See, I forgot. Nobody reminded me. You got to do that because, you know, let's face it, I'm not what I used to be. I'm not that much of a scoundrel, Todd Bradshaw. Oh, that's okay, Gloria, LOL. You know, Todd is the original spelling, and it sounds the same. Mom named me after the fox. Todd means fox. I like it. Well, yeah, I like it. I like the picture of the fox too. Cool. I never knew that. I never knew that. I always say, Todd, you live in Tennessee, but I always associate Todd with living in Greenwich, Connecticut, and wearing a cardigan sweater and penny loafers, you know, with designer jeans or pants. I don't know. So there's a lot of dingins going on that can be my friend. Those dings. I want more dings. Um, Not dingleberries though. No, don't want that. So that's nice. That's nice. um, I missed that the first time around. Like your haircut. A lot of people have been saying that. Gotta put a little finesse into it though. It'll go pretty fast, but yes, I did visit Vito from Classy Cuts. I never want to mispronounce the name of his shop. Classy Cuts. Classy Cuts. Carol Cook saying so far, very sorry, Susan. Hi, Tammy with an I, says Elaine Peterson. Jupiter's Realms giving her condolences to her niece, 55 years old. Oh, boy. Yeah, the haircut suits you, Jack? See, somebody was saying, oh, cut your hair real short and let it go white. Uh, and it's just not for me. I was Jimmy Sturr, 82 years old, and he still looks like Jimmy Sturr. Not like he did in 1969 when I was 14 and saw him for the first time. Not quite like that, but you can't miss it that's still Jimmy Sturr. But if it was all white, it wouldn't suit him. Other people look fantastic with white hair, like his main voice when he's in the right area, because Johnny Karras doesn't do all the gigs he used to do. He lives in Daytona Beach, Florida. But he looks good. Obviously, John Forsythe, Trace Gallagher from Fox look great with white hair. But I mean, oh, yeah, look at this now. Jody hits once again the thanks button for $1 right down there. Thank you very, very much. So I don't know, I like it longer, and I wore it that way. I was like one of the first students in Virality Junior High to wear my hair long. In 2 years, they would all have it, but I was one of the pioneers, so I got kidded for it, and my gym teacher, who would eventually become the mayor, said, tell me, I'm taking a survey. Why do you wear your hair long? Along with my bell bottoms or my flares. And I even had a bell bottom shirt, which means it was all puffy. and then of course I had to come in for the to button the collar. But I had a bell bottom shirt, and my brown um, belt flares were tie dyed, and I looked like a cow. I looked like a brown cow, only I was skinny. I was skinny then. Oh, those were the days, my friend. I thought they'd never end. But then I went to the Golden Corral and fell in love with pizza. I ate a lot of bakery, you see. Um, and yes, I have been known to pee on a tree. So does Tucker Carlson. So don't judge me that I like to pee outside, okay? I never expected to say that, but that would be a joke that's well known around here. Yep, yep. I make sure, I'm camouflaged. Did you smoke hippie lettuce? See, I was the teetotaler of the group Elaine back in the 70s. They did a lot of pot, and occasionally I would join in, and all it did was make me giggle and make me hungry. And I'd be at the 7-Eleven and saying, "Oh, is this the biggest bag of Oreo cookies you got?" So no, I was a teetotaler, and um, one time I did the Big C. And I learned from that experience. I said, wow, I feel like I got no problems at all now. Everything is cool. I'm on a lake in a boat with friends that I love. And this is good stuff. And I feel, like I have conquered the world. But when I came down from that high, I knew that was the devil's counterfeit for peace, and that the problems that I had were still there and they wouldn't change and the goals that I had would not be met if I just started to do something like that, which of course was way out of my budget anyway. So that was it. That was it. One time only. One time only. But the pot, I was doing a little bit from the pot store to relax when my anxiety was kicking in. But it's not really that good for you either, and you sure don't want to drive doing that. So very little hippie lettuce, but my friends were, they did other things too, and thank God they're all still alive, all still alive. Um, I got the flu shot and the pneumonia shot, and haven't had even bronchitis or anything. So far so good. I used to get bronchitis, or you guys remember, you can watch the old videos from just a year or so ago, and I'm coughing up a storm then, and I'm on my second or third bronchitis of the year. Doxycycline became my friend, and I haven't had it now in many, many, many months. So praise God, praise God. I'm very happy about that. Um, but they always tend to say, well, the strain that's out there of the flu wasn't really covered in the flu shot. I don't know if they're saying that this year, but I have heard there's a bad strain out there. So we'll see. But I don't tend to get the flu. I get bronchitis. I don't want to say I've never had the flu, but I don't think I've ever had the flu. I think that's right. So I like my Elaine, who frequently rides the train. I like my lettuce iceberg. I like my lettuce iceberg. Now you could mix in some of those things that look like tree leaves, that romaine and stuff, and other stuff. But I got to have a healthy batch of iceberg in there. I want that crunch, and I like the taste. Can't imagine me smoking. Well, I do crave, and in the spring and summer into the fall, every once in a while, I go down to see Ahmad down at the convenience store, and I say, I'll have a 2 pack. I even always point to it, the 2 pack of the Dutch Masters, please. And then I come home and I'll take one out. It's in a nice pouch. It stays fresher. Put the other one in the fridge, and then I pour some honey onto a bowl, and I'm out in the gazebo, and I turn on from the Polka Jammer Network. I go to archives and I put in one of the two Jimmy Sturr shows that he does every week. the Saturday Night Polka Party with Jimmy Sturr, or Polka Session, which airs around the country, uh, and also airs on Sirius XM. He's all over the place, Jimmy Sturr. And local stations that he's on for the Polka Session show. Saturday Night Polka Party only airs on the Polka Jammer Network, and so he can talk about the polka jam a lot. So I'm sitting there and I'm polkaing on my phone, and I got this big cigar, and I got a nice beverage of some sort, not usually an alcohol beverage, although I have had a Mike's Hard Lemonade from time to time. And I just feel like, it's warm evening. It's and Hudson Valley summers. We'll have a hot spell, but in the beginning, it's beautiful and the flowers are blooming and it's groovy. It's groovy. I don't want to be like now headed down the road to Florida or what have you, because it's too hot in Florida in the summer. Arugula. How do we talk about that? Neo, you are strange, but it's probably in context that I didn't see. Um, it's not wacky backy, it's the wacky tabacky. Yeah. There's a lot of states that have not legalized it, and there's a lot of downside to it because I know there's people smoking in their cars. I know there are. We have a fire scanner, and they have to respond to MBAs, and we hear all the time. There's certain hot spots and what have you. So I'm fortunate that I've had this car since 2018, and except for someone scraping one of my bumpers in the shop right, um, when I wasn't even around. Um, that was the only thing that's happened. I had to go to Honda and get the orange paint, and then B-Man, Bob Reynolds, who's also a great mechanic, but he doesn't do that anymore. He's 72 now. Um, he put the orange paint on for me. You can tell something still happened there, but it's not bad, not bad. I used to get bronchitis every year long ago. Once I started taking raw, local, year-round honey. Yeah, it went away. Local honey is what you want. I just called Bob. We talked, and he said he's all out of honey. And I said, well, Air Supply is all out of love. I need you so badly. Um, so he's all out. He did a lot of, little fairs and festivals, and he's out, and most of his bees are dead. A lot of them are. He hasn't even climbed up to the hive. He has more locations for his hives, but they just don't make it when it's cold. They don't make it. He'll end up buying more bees, and they'll have sexy time. They'll have sexy time. And once they have their sexy time, they mass produce like the Mormons. I swear there'll be more bees than there are Osmonds. I know you think I'm exaggerating, but there'll be more bees than there are Osmonds. Well, maybe about the same. My 93-year-old mom is a pot. It reduces her pain and helps her get to sleep, right? Yeah. Yeah, it can be effective. Medicinal purposes only. Medicinal purposes only. That's what we like to tell ourselves anyway. God bless her at 93. So thank you for that tip, Todd, because I'll increase my local honey. Um, we can get it down at Soon's from not too far away, but they do say that you want the local honey. I like the light. Would you say the light or the dark is better, Todd? Light or dark? You were talking about lettuce, Neo says. Why do I read his things out loud without looking at them? Utterly bad cow puns. Utterly. I got it. At first, I thought you meant to say utterly, and then knew. Now I got that one. That's not bad, Neo. I got to give it to you when you get it. My father smoked Dutch Masters, yes. So that's what I do, but not very often because I don't want to die of lung cancer. Rush Limbaugh, if he hadn't smoked almost one or two cigars a day, He might still be with us on the radio, and the Rush Limbaugh absence is devastating to me to this day because there was only one Rush. Thank God for Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, noon to 3 East Coast time. So translate that to your time zone. I think 500 or so radio stations around the country, and of course you can get it on online. We get it on WOR, which is a hard signal in some spots to get, not as strong as the WABC radio signal. But we were listening. We were out there today, listened to a little Clay and Buck, and then listened to some Sean Hannity. And in my opinion, dark. If you can get some honeycomb as well, right? Karen is a big believer in that as well. That's a bonus, right? I asked Bob, and he used to have honeycomb, and he likes the song Honeycomb by Jimmy Rogers. So do I. Boy, I got too many tabs open. Let me get rid of some of them. Let's see here. So let me do this little thing on Kelly Osbourne because I saw this picture here. Well, let me go to live stream so I can see if you can see it. And then I'll look at the email because there's been some buzzing going on. So I see this picture of Kelly Osbourne all of a sudden. What the heck? You know, she was such a pretty girl. Looked very British, of course. And I see this picture. And then I see a video or two of hers online. And she looks like she's, you know, I hate to say it, but she looks like she's in the last stages of terminal 4 cancer. So I had to look that up right away. Used to watch the Osbournes. Love that show. Love that show. Kelly Osbourne has dealt with several health issues, notably Lyme disease, diagnosed years after the infection. Gestational diabetes and recent bouts with the respiratory virus RSV and potential pneumonia, which, along with grief from her father Ozzy's death, has also led to significant weight loss and public backlash that she's fiercely addressed. So she contracted a tick bite and dealt with symptoms like sore throat and stomach pain, but didn't get the official diagnosis. I didn't even recognize her. Yeah. Blew me away. Raw honey. So what does that mean, Todd? I mean, they don't pasteurize honey, right? I mean, certainly B-Man's not doing anything like that. So what does raw honey mean as opposed to, I know it's probably something different than you would get in that little Winnie the Pooh bottle in the grocery store. That's not good honey. Let's see. Here's MM Staten or Staten right now. Staten, right? Candy Staten Suswell. I remember her. Yeah. Used to see her on the Trinity Broadcasting Network all the time. Good evening, MM Staten. But I don't know if you're a male or a female, do I? I don't know. Unprocessed, no preservatives. Okay, so you mean once it hits the grocery store shelves, that's where you're going to find your preservatives, right? If you buy from someone directly that is a beekeeper or whatever, you're never going to have to worry about that. And the only thing it does is that, you know, it tends to, you got to stick it in hot water because it gets all hard on you, that kind of thing. Raw honey is good for diabetes. Okay, I believe you. I believe honey is a very good thing. So I got to be more consistent in my honey. So those foods that Dr. Reese on the YouTube Reels, number one, Twinkies, full of this toxic. This is the stuff Bobby Kennedy's going after, folks. He really is. Twinkies is on the list, and also number two, cereal. Come on, we all know what it is. Fruit Loops. And there's no fruit in Fruit Loops, So Bobby Kennedy is going after them, and they've made some promises, I think, because they don't do it. Other places just ban the product outright, and then they give them another version. But we get the crap because for years, we have just let it happen, but not under President Trump's watch, especially in the second term here when he hooked up with Bobby Kennedy. Honey never goes bad and has several uses. Read up on it. What do you think about Manuka honey? Have you heard of that? It's quite amazing. It's quite amazing. I don't know about eating Manuka honey, but people put it on their skin and stuff. I'm interested in learning about, oh, there it is, Manuka honey. Anyone know about the medical benefits? Karen, are you here right now? This is a Suzanne Summers thing. That business seems to be in trouble. I don't know. I'm just saying. Alan Hamill, Suzanne's widower, thought he would come up with AI Susan, and people weren't happy, and he wasn't happy that they weren't happy. And then the president of the company resigned, and which is his daughter-in-law. And it just seems like I don't know. Alan Hamill has disappeared from the broadcast that they do. They do 3-4 a week, and they've cut down on those. But Karen's still getting those Suzanne Summers Organics boxes, and there are some great products like the Gut Renew and that peppermint cream. We gave some to her hair designer over at the Classy Cuts, Sherry with an I, and she gave her a cash tip too for the Christmas, but she came rushing over and said, "Oh, I love that that Suzanne Summers peppermint cream." And my boyfriend too, he puts it right by his lips so he can keep smelling it. It is. Do I have both here or just one? I think I might have moved the other one. This is I got this from Karen for Christmas. This is the sugar scrub. This is the sugar scrub. So it's kind of rough, but it's still got that. Oh, I love it. Oh, but this is a scrub. You're supposed to put it on your body and then hit the shower a little bit. Put right here. What do you think? Do I look like I'm at the beach and I didn't blend in my tanning lotion? Lovely. Lovely. I love peppermint. I love peppermint. I am a diabetic. Um, so is Karen, but it never stopped her. Oh, serial cheater. But I totally understand. I'm the same way. But people that are type 1, you better be careful. I'm a diabetic. One of my friends heard of Manuka honey. Jack, what can Karen tell me about it? I'll have to get back to you. I don't want to ad-lib it because she'd be just saying what Violet Summers says and what Carolyn Summers, that's the former president who now has resigned from the company. So I'll have to get back to you on that. But Karen has many forms of Manuka honey, but not really. We don't eat it. But I think you can. Dodge is here. Dodger. That's sport or spot? Sport. Hi, y'all. Hi, Dodge. Where are you from? I know you've been here before because I did the same thing last time. I remember. She's not the only one. Something's very screwy's going on. What are we talking about? We talking about Suzanne Summers? No. I'm interested in learning more about Manuka honey. Honey never goes bad, says Todd. Bees are amazing little creatures. Love them. Yeah. And some of them live very short lifespans, very short lifespans. I mean, stay away from that queen bee. Your life will end quick. I mean, I'm trying to think of a joke right off the top of my head here. It's like dangerous, like dating Lorena Bobbitt. The cut felt around the world. Every man just lowered their head. I'm sorry, but it's true. It's true. Don't you think, Pam Dolly? Hey, watch that middle finger. I didn't even notice. Oh, I used my middle finger. You're right, I did. I'm so sorry. So sorry. I'm sorry. Look into the raw diet I did for a year in my 30s. The medical journalist says it's been seen to reverse type 2 diabetes in many cases, just like losing weight can solve that problem. It's not easy, but the payoff is worth it. Um, yeah. See, I will learn something like that, and I will purpose to do it. And 3 days later, I'm having a medium pie down at the Brother Bruno's with mushrooms and peppers, and I'm saying, "This is ecstasy, ecstasy." Ah, yeah. I suck at repentance and I suck at willpower. Lady, willpower, it's now or never. Give your love to me. Gary Puckett's a born again Christian, but some of his earlier hits were kind of, a little, a little bit over the line. Over the line. Dun, 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 dun. Dragging the Line, I'm thinking of by Tommy James. His opening song, every concert he's ever opened, he opens with Dragging the Line. Yeah. It just goes on forever before he starts singing, and it's a great intro for a DJ. ah. Oh my goodness, Tammy Griffin. Oh my God, look who's here. I didn't even see his name in the credits. Um, First of all, Tammy Griffin, thank you. Oh my goodness. I'm just blown away. I'm blown away by Tammy, who had a very generous Christmas gift. And I'm blown away by Tammy, $25 for entertainment. So, yeah, because, those Jimmy Stir tickets aren't free. They're just cheap. They're pretty cheap. Polka Weekend's a little more expensive now. It's also a rigorous schedule because 8 a.m. breakfast, you got until like 9:30, but you go in there at 8:45 and they're starting to clean up a little bit. And the people that you wanted to have breakfast with, they were there at 8 o'clock. You have your table, assigned seating, and you get to know these people like Polka Sean and Polka Norma, and now we're all friends years later. Um, and a breakfast buffet is to die for. Just the oatmeal they have right next to it. They have brown sugar, and they have cinnamon and what have you, and hot cooked delicious homemade oatmeal. And then they've got the scrambled eggs, the sausage, the bacon, the home fries, the Danish, the yogurt, the um, the cranberry sauce, the orange juice, the coffee if you are so inclined, the tea, which she brings you, uh, especially the tea. Tea drinkers always have to wait, and they come around with that coffee pot all the time. You got to ask, "Can I have some more hot water, please?" But look at this, my God, folks, you're just wonderful. Thank you for our 10th anniversary of the virtual church of the disillusion. I'll tell you a little bit how it was in the beginning. It wasn't like this. That's the easiest way to say it. So thank you. And here is Vinny Maru. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to Mr. Las Vegas himself, the return of Vinny Maru. I'm so glad to see you. Even if you hadn't done that, I'd be very glad to see you. $100 for the happy 10th anniversary. Thank you so much, Vinny Maru. And then we had Todd Bradshaw, my number one contributor of all times, number one tipper. It's just a tip jar. It's just a tip jar. I'm your waitress, but I don't look good in the tight pink outfit, so I don't wear it. I wear this. A genuine Hawaii shirt made in Hawaii, gifted to me by the wonderful Carol from Zephyr Hills, Florida. I'm sure she loves me saying that. But it's a wonderful place, not far from Tampa, I believe. So there you go. Thank you, Todd, for kitty treats and meow mix. He feeds a lot of feral kitties too. And then we have the deer. Just yesterday, I got a big loaf of the cheap white bread because it's the big one. And I'm going to put the store brand peanut butter chunky on there, and I'm out there freezing on the porch, and I'm cut up and throwing it to the deer. We can have as many as 10, but we usually have 3 or 4. Oh, they love that. I love to watch them as they try to get the peanut butter off their roof of their mouth, but they're so happy. They're so happy. And then, of course, apples. We give them apples. So, and we're out of the critter apples at Soon's Orchard now. We went like 4 times and must have gotten over 100 and some apples, 45 cents a pound. You load up. Thank you, Tim Spencer, for also hitting the Cash App. Thank you, Jupiter's Realm, for also hitting the Cash App for $10 for looking slick in 2026. And then, of course, Elaine Peterson, very faithful as well, as is other people like Susan Carter, and as I say, Tammy with an I. Tim Spencer, I said, and Susan, I said, and I'm going to look at my phone for the rest. Pam Donnelly, yes, certainly, and definitely. And of course, here we got Hockey 92 on the thanks button, Hockey 92, and Miles, and we've got Jody Smith, and many, many more. So once again in December, it looked really bad, and I thought, oh man, tax time is coming up, which means I'm going to have to pay tax on tips. I'm not in the no tax on tips ever. It hasn't started yet, but when it does, that doesn't include me. So thank you guys. Thank you so very much. I really, really appreciate it. Where am I? Make apple butter. Oh, they sell that at Soon's. So why would I go through the trouble, You got to come here, Dodge, and you got to go to Soon's with me. I'd wait till the spring when Scotty's is open, which is well into May, I think. They're on their winter vacation now. They have an outside stand. They used to be inside Soon's. They used to all be together, but now they're not. Here's Vinny Maru, and he's talking to Elaine Peterson. I see you now, Vinny. I didn't see you at first. I don't know when you came on. So the raw diet, yeah. Manuka honey is high in meth. Well, I have a meth lab. Didn't I tell you that? A supposed antioxidant. Thank you for doing that information, that search, Neil. You'll say, I just knew it. I didn't have to do a search. Anti-inflammatory and antibacterial substance. Cool. Yeah, I'm sure Suzanne Summers, granddaughter Violet Summers, or her sister Camille, who's on sometimes, or Camellia. She also has her own job, and she travels to far and distant places. So, Violet Summers talks all about Manuka honey, and she's falling out of her clothes as she does it. Just saying. She's a good spokesman. She's got a real gift of the gab. People tell me I have a gift of the gab. That's nice. So what's going on with you, M.M. Staten? What's going on with you? Bayou Girl is here down on the bayou. Yeah, some good eating down on the bayou if you don't get eaten by a crocodile who's very hungry, or a alligator. Alligator. Why did I think of operator when I thought of alligator? Operator, won't you help me place a call? See, it's the 70s and there are no cell phones. Well, you could find a payphone because he's called the operator. That didn't work. Anyway, Carol Cook is still here. Nice to have you with us still, Carol. Here's Jackie Organ from 104-degree Australia. Saying hello to Todd Bradshaw and Robin Roman. Here's Vinny saying hello to Todd, our Tennessee Titan. Um, and Gloria's still with us. How's your head, by the way? She had a headache the other live that we did. Is your head feeling better? I hope. Vinny saying hello to Elaine as well. There it is. Hi, Jack and everyone. I'm a bit late today. Don't worry. We'll be on for a little while longer, and check out the replay if you can. But welcome, 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 Jackie. I was Jackie on the radio for a while, Jackie London. Strange as it may be. You've been to Zephyr Hills, Neil? Really? Near Dade County. Is that where Anita Bryant lived? I thought she was dead long ago, and she just died recently. Remember when someone came up? Anybody remember this? That she was speaking at a press conference back when she was, speaking out against the homosexual lifestyle, using the Bible to do it, and what have you. And someone came and put a cream pie on her face. Remember that? Some things you never forget. Some things you never forget. What's a good song? Operator or what? No, that would have been before. See, I see these things too late. What did I say, Todd? I don't even know. I think I do, but I've already forgotten it. This is why I'm having a dementia test in a couple of weeks. Is that in my future? Is that in my future? So, if so, I'll do a remote broadcast from Widow's Hill, which was where Josette Dupre met her end in Dark Shadows. So I'll be up there on Widow's Hill, and I'll say, well, folks, this is my final broadcast, and I wanted you to join me. I'm going to fix the phone in my pocket in such a way that it's probably going to stay in my pocket as I go down to the rocks. And I think that might be some good TV right there. Might be some good TV. The things I do for good TV. I don't know. So, yeah, do they have a place called the Jolly Cow there, Neil? Does that ring a bell to you? I used to kid her and say it's Heifer Hills. Heifer Hills. I remember that. What's been going on in Las Vegas, Vinny? Are you there, or are you in the home of Nancy Barrett? Because you're in Phoenix too, as I recall. And we were looking up because it's public information. She lives in a gated retirement community, assisted living, or not if you don't need that. And people were marveling at how expensive it was. Well, she married a rich lawyer. That was her last of 4 husbands. So, Dark Shadows didn't pay a lot. It was crazy back then in the 60s. The star of the show, who was a legendary movie star, but then took a 10-year break after a scandal. Dark Shadows was her big comeback. Joan Bennett, I know I always talk about Dark Shadows. I'm sorry. She got $850 an episode. $850, and she didn't work 5 days a week. She would have storylines though where she was working close to that, and then she'd be off to for some reason they'd come up with she'd take 3-4 months off, and Jonathan Frid, of course, became the biggest star of Dark Shadows, playing Barnabas Collins. But why did I say all that? This is scary. Oh, yeah, I got it. Okay. I hate that. So the other people, like Nancy Barrett, who was so crucial, did a lot of storylines. I don't know if she was making $500 an episode. And then there'd be 2-3 months when she did take a break, or they wrote her out for a little bit, Other times she was on almost every day, playing a bevy of characters to perfection. But she's trying to live in New York City, and it was expensive then, not like it is now. I think she lived in a Riverside Drive. I think I remember seeing that in her bio. and she's making far less, and I don't think she did a lot of commercials or anything like that. And so by the time you got down to poor little David Hennessy playing David Collins, then Jameson Collins, he said they didn't pay kids much back then. I think he was probably making something like 250 an episode for being brilliant at 1966 at age 9 or 10, whatever he was. And I'm sure they got raises as the show got hot, but it was never great pay. And he's 69 years old and lives in Panama now, where he owns several restaurants and stuff. Judy Smith, is she here? And Brenda Noyce is here too. Got a lot of late bloomers. And look at this. Haven't seen Hearts Wild in a long time. Hi, Hearts Wild. Good to see you again. People that have, and if I miss a comment, it wasn't intentional. Jack, Born on a Bayou by Creedence Clearwater Revival. You got it. It's going off in my head right now. Todd acknowledging Jackie being here from the Kangaroo State. Country, I mean, not state. Yes, you're going to be our 51st country, our 51st state. I'm more confused than, well, you know who. I won't say it. Yeah, good to have you here, Brenda Noyce. Look, we're at a healthy 62, and as I said that, it became 61. Someone had enough of my butt. 30 people please hit the like button. Please hit the notification bell if you haven't already. But this is basically family here. We started doing shows in 2022, but this channel this month is 10 years old. 10 years old. I was 59 years old, and I can't really think about what went into the thought process of me wanting to do the channel other than I love to do broadcasting. I didn't have the mic with the board, didn't have as good of equipment. I sure didn't have a 4K camera. But I just wanted to do something because radio had, slowed down. I was still working, though. I was still working a job, so I had to work around it. I didn't retire to 2022, to February of 2022. And if I knew what was coming in terms of my pension getting smaller, I would have probably held on till and taken Social Security at 66 instead of 62. But it's all water under the bridge, as they say. I heard today, someone may know this already, and I should take a picture. Maybe next show I'll have a picture, but the Tallahatchie Bridge, this was ad-libbed by one of the jocks from Fox Oldies, has nothing to do with Fox News. Fox Oldies, WGNY FM. It's great station. If you want to hear oldies, you can hear them all over the world online. I guess WGNY FM. Or it could be Fox Oldies something. You'll find it. Just look for WGNY FM. And it's a great oldie station, and Buffalo Bob is on in the afternoon. Now, this is not the guy who had a hole in his living room in Silence of the Lambs. It's not that Buffalo Bob, and it's not Buffalo Bill, who had a hole in his living room in Joe Dirt. Neither one. Buffalo Bob is just his radio name. He's a musician like you, Todd. And what did he play now? I think he was a drummer. And they were very successful back in his day, but now he voice tracks on he's not live, but he voice tracks on the afternoon show, which our time, East Coast time, would be 3 to 7 p.m. 3 to 7 p.m. And he's great. And he was talking about his various career highlights and what have you, including interviewing Billy Davis and Marilyn McCoo, who lived out in California, but they were coming this way to do a concert. It might have been back when I saw them in Poughkeepsie at Faith Assembly of God. That church was, talk about a big church, full to the rafters. And I think I've said this before, but Marilyn didn't know how it was going to play in a church. They've been starting to do churches because they're both born again Christians. And so they didn't know how it would be. Well, they walked out at Faith Assembly of God on Spack and Kill Road in Poughkeepsie, New York, and everybody stood up, and there was a roar, a raucous reception, and you could see that Marilyn was a little surprised, and Billy was just smiling ear to ear, and it set the whole tone for the evening because they knew right away that they were extremely important to us. I mean, I grew up with a Fifth Dimension, and then the Marilyn McCoo solo hits. Now they couldn't do all the Fifth Dimension tunes because you can't be in a church singing Stone Soul Picnic, which is a lovely song that meant so much to me in '68, or Sweet Blindness, a story about getting blitzed. You know, they couldn't do that, but they, of course, did Up and Away. And when she did Gonna Marry Me, Bill, which she, of course, did marry Bill, he's standing right next to her, and that's his wife. um, he pretends that they're not married and that he's just, he's going to put on his hat and coat and try to get out of there because he's not the marrying type. It was very cute the way they did it. And of course, they did, they couldn't do Aquarius. They could have done the second part, Let the Sun, SON, shine in. But Aquarius wouldn't have fit. But they did what Fifth Dimension songs they could do. And then he sits down and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, the incredible Marilyn McCoo." And that's when she does her solo hits. And she phenomenal. You just love her so much. And we stood in a long line to see them and to buy their stuff and everything like that. This goes back to my second wife. And it was just a joy to meet them. Wonderful, wonderful people that have meant so much to our lives. Huh. So let me go down to Hearts Wild. Where have you been? I thought you had left me forever. I thought I'd been left at the altar or something like that. I'm assuming you're a woman. All this time I've assumed you're a woman. So don't tell me your name is Steve, okay? Well, let's see here. Jody, what's she saying? Jack, Born on the Bayou. Yeah, well, I love that song. Traveling Man is my favorite because I love to travel. I don't get to do too much of it, but things are looking up here a little bit. We do cheap trips, not cheap tricks. I haven't done that for years. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Katina. This is why the grand matriarch left. Jokes like that. Oh, dear. Not that I was the. Am I going to make it worse? I wasn't the tricker. I was the trick E. Get it? I'm going to move on before Vinny, what have I done? I don't know, Vinny. It's like I'm taking the wildwood flower. I have one marijuana lemonade in the fridge. If you'd like it, Vinny, you're welcome to it. You're welcome to it. Doesn't taste anything like lemonade. It tastes exactly like lemon lime Gatorade, the sugar version, and it just gives you a little bit of a buzz. That's all. Make you relax a little bit. You're not going to fall asleep at the crap table. I promise you. So yeah, I was telling you about Nancy Barrett, who lives in Phoenix, Arizona, and you can look it up and you'll see the place. Karen was looking at the photos. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Entrance fee for this retirement assisted living, nurses on the property and everything like that. And she's 82. Some say 84, but I think her real age is 82 now. And it's beautiful. Entrance fee, 160 grand. 160 grand just to get you in the door. And the cheapest apartments are just under 5 grand a month. But in a nursing home, what do you think they're paying if they can get it from you? If you have that much? Oh yeah. You didn't sell your house 5 years before to you, or give your house to your kids. Oh yeah, they'll go through that real quick. They will be charging you $5,000 a year in a nursing home if they can get it. Buzz Lightyear, your mind goes to infinity and beyond. I don't know, Neil. I think, hey man, how am I driving? I think we're parked, man. Shh. Is this Is this Sean Penn? Is this Fast Times at Ridgemont High we're recalling here? All I remember from that movie, Vinny, well, Sean Penn is a phenomenal actor, right? He can do anything. But all I remember is him driving and saying, "People on lewds should not drive." I remember that. I remember that. Oh, don't take that man. Oh, don't take that man. Is that more dialogue? Must be. Dude, where's my car? Well, we had a disc jockey here in the 60s, 70s, into the 80s named Joe Ryan, who was a local legend. Everybody loved Joe Ryan. He taught me early on, before I even did my first radio show. And he didn't tell me by telling me this. He would talk to me later when he used to call me, and I was the DJ, and he was retired and not in good health. Um, but he taught me by listening to him that radio. They taught me in broadcasting school too. It's a one-on-one conversation. If you can make the listener feel you're having a one-on-one conversation, they'll listen to you forever. You're their friend, and radio's not what it used to be. So when we have still a hot station in Fox Oldies, WGNY FM, which you can hear anywhere you are, it's nice to hear that. The morning show sucks. I don't know what they did. Uh, they Bob O was the original only host, and now it's a mess in the morning. But starting at 10 a.m., Sunny Joe comes on, and then Buffalo Bob, and they're both great. They're both great. I mean, Sunny Joe is he's a salesman too. He voice tracks most of his show, but at noon he comes on live and does request. He does request. So he's always saying in his voice track part of the show, after 11:30 a.m., if you have a request, put it in now because it fills up quick. And then at noon, he comes on live and he plays those requests. Can't fake that. You got to be live. So there you go. You could fake it, but you would be really annoying the audience because they'll never hear the song they wanted. He accidentally gave him acid. What movie are we in here? Dave's not here, man. Huh. This is a stoner movie. Up in Smoke. Okay. Cheech and Chong. I see. I probably saw some of it, but not all of it. I did see at least one Cheech and Chong movie all the way through. And I know they were great. I know they were great. All right. Sure. And then who would have thought it that Cheech Marin goes on and becomes a serious dramatic actor? Could you figure that one out? I didn't see that coming. Cheech was also on the Ghostbusters movie. Oh, he was in a lot of shows and movies, detective shows, right? What the heck was he on? Better Late Than Never, When the Titanic Arrived. The Raising of the Titanic is the movie that unfortunately, two of my favorite people, one of my favorite actors was Jason Robards. Jason Robards. He was in that movie. He was the star, and right behind him was the co-star of Dark Shadows, David Selby, Quentin Collins. And it's one of the worst movies I ever saw. Awful. I said, why did they do this to Jason and David? Why did they sign for it? Because they never did raise Titanic, so it's silly to begin with, right, Carol Cook? I need 2 knee replacements. Boy, you're going to need a lot of care if you have both done at the same time. But as Billy Joel said when he did it, he said, I know that if I didn't have both done at the same time, I'd never go back for the second one. Who takes care of him during the whole time? His ex-wife, Christy Brinkley. I thought that was a feather in her cap because he really loved Christy McNichol. I loved Christy McNichol. Christy Brinkley, who looks so good in those vacation movies, right? Sure enough, I've seen this cognitive decline in Chevy Chase for a while now, and some procedure that he had caused memory loss and what have you. And I could see this happening. He just isn't Chevy Chase that we know. However, Cousin Eddie's doing fine, even though he's crazy. Even though he's crazy. See, his crazy just makes him even funnier. This guy, um, Dennis Quaid's brother, Randy Quaid, I could do this. Randy Quaid shows up at these fan conventions and his line wraps around the place. Everybody wants to go to him, and he's charging over $100, something like that, for the selfie, and an 8x10 he's going to sign and stuff like that, just like Shatner would do. His line wraps too, but he likes to sit down most of the time. But Cousin Eddie, that's how he makes his living now, doing these fan conventions, because he has an incredible fan base. Randy Quaid was glad he was able to get out of Canada and back into America. Where's Shelley? Where's Shelley from Canada? I just realized it's been a while, right? Hope she's okay. Still no word on Ted Richards. Where are you, Ted? I remember that when the ship rolled in. Well, Vinny, um, if you're gonna jump out of a plane, just make sure you got your chute together. That's all I'll tell you. Neo, yeah, Dave's not here, man. Now you make me want to see this. I'm sure it's on Tubi or something. I can certainly buy it. I know that. I'm looking for a TV movie from 1968 called A Few Honorable Men. Stars Peter Fonda, Peter, but the female star, and what's his name was in it too, the great actor Pat Hinkle, not Hingle, right? Pat Hinkle was in 1,000 Things, including he played Edison right down here at the Paramount Theater, and I went. I'm not going to miss Pat Hinkle. He's in Middletown, and he was great as Edison. He was great. And he was great in every movie role he did. But Alexandra Mocha Isles, Victoria Winters from Dark Shadows, after she had her baby and had recovered, she didn't go back to Dark Shadows, but she did A Few Honorable Men with Peter Fonda. And I want to see that movie, but I can't even find it on Tubi. So where is that movie? I want to see it so bad. So they did it in Brooklyn at the Brooklyn studios, and then they would go to lunch and they'd be walking down the street. Peter Fonda at this point is an accomplished movie star. What was his big movie? Five Easy Pieces. Was he in that? Was he in the other one with Jack Nicholson? He's a pretty big movie star. Everybody is stopping dead in their tracks as they approach. They're going to lunch. Oh my God, it's Victoria Winters. Oh my God, Alexandra. So nice to meet you. They all recognized her. He said, "You're more famous than I am. And you did a soap." It really wasn't a soap, but he had no idea how beloved those characters would be to this day in 2026. Some of them, of course, have passed on. But yeah, she was bombarded by fans when she just walked down the street. The love for her, you would have stepped in front of a gun for her. You would have. I can't explain it. Same for Catherine Lee Scott, and same for Jonathan Frid, and for me, the great actor Thayer David, who was in the first Rocky picture. He played the money man. I just saw it at Brother Bruno's, and they had it up, but sometimes they have music on and just the TV, and they don't even use subtitles. So I say, that's a shame. But they had the movie, the Rocky one up, and and Sylvester Stallone was not mumbling at all. He wasn't mumbling. His diction was clear. So I thought, what movie did he start to mumble in? Was it Rambo? Did he mumble in Rambo? I thought this is unfair. They say he mumbles, you know. As he gets older now, I guess if you look at Tulsa King, you got to listen a little closer to understand what he's saying. I am really chattering tonight, aren't I? Aren't I? How can you stay cool? Oh, you gotta stay in the air conditioning. Isn't that a drag though? Because you wanna be out there and enjoying things, and you end up going from air-conditioned building to air-conditioned building. That's a drag. 53 watching, 34 likes right now. So, let's see here. So we talked about Kelly Osbourne, yeah, and, and by the way, Sharon's not looking too good. She's looking very thin too. I mean, Ozzy was beloved, by a bazillion people. People like Rosie O'Donnell, who everybody seems to hate now because she's you know, you know. Um, uh, she didn't like Ozzy Osbourne at all, and then the Osbournes came on. What was it? AMC, or was it um, the other one with an A? um, the Osbournes comes on, and after the first episode, she was a huge Ozzy Osbourne fan because he's just so funny. He's just so funny, and I know all these shows are scripted to a degree. To a degree, they set up the scenarios, but then you ad lib, and she just couldn't believe it. She liked an episode where they had a family meeting. To kind of lay down the law, and Ozzy couldn't wait for it. That was all he could handle. And of course, a frequent friend of the F word. Here's Carmen Sylvia official. I like it. Yes. Hot here too in New Zealand, huh? See, I know nothing about your place. I know nothing about Australia. So it's cool to be on in these places that I'll never see. But I could look up some videos on them at least, I suppose. I have seen a little bit of Australia. There's been movies shot there, obviously. Have they shot movies in New Zealand, Carmen? Have they? I don't know. There is some promising cartilage regeneration in testing. And not only that, we may have found the cure for Alzheimer's because there's not going to be any more forgetful mice because they have been cured of their Alzheimer's. Who would know that a mouse would have Alzheimer's? How would you know? But now it's going into trials for humans, so I hope that works out. I would love it if they found an instant cure for Parkinson's, and the first one to get the medicine would be Michael J. Fox. That would be wonderful. That would be wonderful. He's had enough suffering because he got it during the filming of Doc Hollywood, one of my favorite Michael movies. Obviously, I can't say 3 would come before Doc Hollywood, but Back to the Future 1 and 2 are in my list of all-time favorite movies, and a lot of Tom Hanks movies. But I never knew that all this time I was loving on Tom Hanks, saying, "Oh man, how many times have I seen Terminal? How many times have I seen Forrest Gump? How many times have I seen Cast Away?" Not Castaway. He wasn't a castaway. He was cast away from the people he loved, namely Helen Hunt before the facelift. And she's back to looking good again. Eventually that wears off, and you don't do anything that dramatic. Even Simon Cowell is starting to look all right again. I will pray with you for discernment for surgery or alternatives. Well, when it's, boy, it's a tough gig. Billy Joel had a nice recovery, but now he's got other issues. Jack, I love all Michael J. Fox's movies. Yeah. I didn't see them all, but I saw most of them. And of course, I like Family Ties very, very much. He almost didn't get to do Back to the Future. They started with a guy that, what's his name? Oh, I know it. He played in the movie, what was it, The Mask with Cher, right? The Mask, or was it Elephant Man? I always get confused. Eric. Fine actor, but just not right for the part of Marty McFly. They had already asked for Michael J. Fox. They called NBC and asked for Michael J. Fox to say, "Hey, we're only a quarter way into shooting. He can't do that. You can't have him." And so they started with Eric, and they got about a quarter way filming and it wasn't working. So, is that Steven Spielberg? He called NBC again, and so we got to have him. We'll work around your schedule, and we'll do everything we can so he gets some sleep. He would sleep in vans on the way from the studio. They'd shoot at night, and then they'd shoot all weekend. They'd shoot all weekend. It was like Michael J. Fox felt like he was Marathon Man. He was working all the time, sleeping a little here, sleeping a little there. And he got through it. He got through it. Of course, by the time 2 and 3 were filmed, he was done with Family Ties. Rotting in the sun now, so you're in Vegas. Oh, wait a minute. You could be either place, but it's a dry heat in Phoenix. 105. It's like, it's like 42 degrees here, right? Dry heat. Come on. Hot is hot. I've been in, what is it? Flagstaff. I got off the Greyhound bus. I was going to LA. And I got off the Greyhound bus for our break. They're going to let us, have a little food in there. They passed a bunch of great restaurants, and here we are at the edge of town, at the crappy food that's at the bus stop. And I got off there, and the heat hit me so hard in my face, it was like I almost fell down. And I was a young lad, 16, 17, 18, whatever I was. So, but this place that Nancy lives in, she probably lives in a $6,000 or $7,000 a month apartment. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful dining room. You don't have to eat there. You can eat in your little apartment if you want. Lots of activities and things like that. She's 82, and she was supposed to be at the Tarrytown Dark Shadows 2024. Celebration. I'm sorry, the 2025. She was supposed to be at the 2024 Burbank celebration, and she missed both of those appearances. So I have never gotten to meet her, and that was devastating. That was devastating. Okay, I got to go to bed now. I have to take my granddaughter in the morning somewhere. Come early. See you all Saturday when Jack's on again. Oh, she's now booking my Saturday night. Could be Sunday night. You never know. I don't know either yet. So I'll do a promo. It'll probably be, it could be live, could be pre-recorded. Who knows? If I'm somewhere cool, I'll do it on the road. Good night, Brenda. Thank you. Late time, I checked. Bruce wasn't doing very good. Last time I checked, Bruce wasn't doing very good. Bruce Willis, huh? I follow him, so I do watch those videos. And they moved him into kind of a nursing home, but no, first they bought a separate house, and he moved there with a full nursing staff because, you start to get a little violent and it becomes hard sometimes. Then I heard he was more like in a facility, and then I heard who took him out of the facility. Yeah, I heard Demi Moore took him out of there. So what's the wife think about that, huh? You can't make this stuff up. You got the ex-wife Christy Brinkley taking care of Billy Joe after his double knee replacement. And then you have Demi Moore on the scene again in Bruce Willis's life. But, he's not verbal and what have you. But I heard he was picked up a little bit. So I don't know. Interesting. Pam Donnelly, I like Sunday nights. My husband works. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, that's a strong possibility because I like Sunday nights too. Although Karen, to her credit, is not watching that awful 90-day fiasco show Sunday night version, but she is watching the Monday night at 9 version. Yeah, we saw that person that she's watching for at Chiller Theater. There's a picture of Karen with that woman. Man, whatever. Regeneration, some just injections of stem cells, or it sounds positive, or replacing the fluid on the knee with a bi-identical fluid. Bio-identical fluid. Prayers for Bruce and his family. Love his family support. Well, his wife is tried really hard, and she sees him all the time. I don't know how this latest scenario is really playing out. Huh. 56 watching. Please hit the replay. No, please hit the subscribe button, like button, and the notification bell. If you can, hit the thanks button for a few dollars. I appreciate that if you can. It's our 10th anniversary of the virtual church of the disillusioned, depressed, and downtrodden. So let me see here. Oh, yeah, I even have Robert up here. You know Robert's active retirement? I was going to give you a taste of Robert. He's about to turn 78 years old. He just celebrated 10 years. No, 1 year. I'm sorry. I'm the 10-year guy. 1 year on YouTube. He should have started a lot earlier because he's got a natural talent for this. He's got a natural talent. There's my channel right there. And if I go, I'd have to go really far down the list. There's Alexandra Mocha right there, the lovely Alexandra Mocha. Just put that up for the thumbnail, and it's gotten some views on that. We talk about general stuff in that video. There's Sydney Sweeney sitting in my studio, but that's fake. Thank you, Neo. Thank you, Neo. And so I got to go way down, like a tidal wave, way down. Yeah, I'd be forever. Oh, I'm glad, this will be our 667th video that's currently up. When I looked and saw that I had 666 videos up, I wanted to quickly put an old video back up or something. I forgot to do it because I don't want to have a total of 666. You got it? I didn't want to have that. Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm looking at some of the older videos now, but I'm not anywhere near yet when we first started out 10 years ago. Of course, some of those videos I took down. Because they weren't relevant anymore. So I'm just 2 years now. I'll be forever trying to get to 10 years. Here's one that's pretty old. Here's the first one. I'm out in the yard. It's summertime. I'm wearing the old jean shorts that I don't have anymore. I wore them out. How to forgive someone who murders your spouse or child. 9 years ago and 189 views. That was good for me 9 years ago, The top 5 reasons people feel Christians are stupid and crazy. And I'm a Christian, and I presented 176 views. See, things were not so good. A tribute to Michael Torzone, who passed away, great organist, that got almost 400 views. 7 steps to turn your life around. Nobody thought of me as the next Tony Robbins because it only got 57 views 9 years ago. And stop selling for the scraps for dogs and wolves. 100 views 10 years ago. 10 years ago. That was the second video I ever did. The first one was the introduction to the virtual church of the disillusioned, depressed, and downtrodden. And that's not the original one anymore. It did okay. Issues that make evil Democrats show their tails. That only got 95 views 10 years ago. Yes, I've been at this for a while. But my first big hit was the Carlton Pearson, which I took down because he's passed away now. I'd like to say I hope he's with the Lord, but he renounced his faith in Jesus Christ. I hope in his last moments he begged for forgiveness and what have you. He was the TV preacher that lost his faith in Jesus Christ. So then things started to pick up in 2018. What happened in 2018? I discovered a preacher from Benton, Arkansas, and things began to rapidly change for me. But we didn't start to do live shows till about 2022. I got a video, Jimmy Swaggart and the prostitute, that took him into a nosedive. That's got 3,000 views almost. Doo-wop legend, that would be Larry Chance, who's now gone on to be with Jesus. He sang a song. You can find it here on YouTube. It's called Elvis. He's alive. He's alive. He knew it. He knew it. But I can still miss spectacularly even now. Who preached Lisa Marie's private funeral, which is The Verdict 2, 133,000 views on that. So, I can spectacularly miss over the years, or I can be right on the money, and The Verdict has almost 250,000 views. 250,000 views. The top 7 pastor Bob Joyce / Elvis links, 6,600 views. There's got a lot of rolling video in that one. My clip of me being in the movie Blinded by the Light out in Pasadena, California from 1979. I had to be an extra in that movie because it starred Christy McNichol. That's got 1,200 views, and that's 2 years ago. It says I put that up. The movie was, I think it was 79 or it was 80. That's when I lived in Hollywood, California. So there you go. Wow, look at the time. You guys always, you're just such a joy to be with, and you always surprise me. One more check of this. Oh my goodness, Patrick Filas hit the Cash App for $25 for a happy 10th anniversary, my friend. Thank you, Patrick Filas, another loyal person here. And Tammy Griffin. Vinnie Maru returns with $100. Happy anniversary. Thank you. Todd Bradshaw, the biggest tipper of them all over the years. And it's been, we're going into year 2 or 3. I'm not sure. Well, we're past the start of year 2. $30 for kitty treats. Tim Spencer, thank you. Jupiter's Realm, thank you. And Elaine Peterson, thank you. So, yeah, we're getting ready to wrap it up, but where's my reading glasses? I don't have my Walmart readers. They're downstairs. Can't get over that picture of Kelly Osbourne. Anyway. Here's Cash App. Look at that, $210. $210, and that's all from today. This is very rare. I want to stress this, but you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And pretty soon I'll be turning this all over to my tax lady, and I got to pay tax on these tips. Trying to get a different page. There it is. Okay. So look at that. Yeah, that's today. I've already mentioned. There's Susan Carter from earlier this month. Patrick Garza. I'm sorry, Patricia Garza. I don't know. I've been saying Gazera. Patricia Garza. There's Todd. June Joyner. Yes. Then we get into December. Sandra Warren. Just trying to go for names that I haven't mentioned already. June Joyner again. Teresa Panel, definitely. Thank you, Teresa. Jupiter's Realm there again. Lucia Thu. Lucia Thu, thank you so much. And So things really started to pick up at the end of December, but very, very nice. That'll help me. I can now say, out of my 4 credit cards, um, things kind of nosedive for me in 2025 when somebody that was entitled to it wanted more money that was back payment. Um, so it became very hard to pay all 4 of my credit cards. I knew right away I would keep one for sure. Then I worked out a deal with one, and now I can say that although I'm sure it's not, I've lost the cards except for the one that I never went behind in, uh, my Amazon card. I've lost 3 of the 4 cards, but everybody is getting paid something. I worked out a deal. Other 2, I'm paying them what I can, and if that's not good enough for them, what can I do? But I'm not defaulting on any of them. Although technically, on paper, I did, and I destroyed my credit rating in 2025. I said, that's how I pay my credit cards, but don't get the wrong impression. No animosity at all. The person needs that, and I love them very much. And so no sweat. But you guys have been a lifeline to me, is what I'm saying. You guys have been a lifetime to me. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I thought everything was going to nosedive, but the Bob Joyce story is going to be very hot in 2026. And we're going to talk about other things too. We always have. We always have. Jimmy Samples, how's it going? How you doing? Hi, Jack. How are you tonight? I'm very good. Very blessed. Very blessed. I got to make nice with Karen because, we talk some. I'm editing everything out. I love her very much. And you can't, you can't change people. Look how hard it is for me to change. So why would I expect it would be easy for other people? It's just that simple, really. So I'm good. I'm good. I'll go over and make sure she's okay now. She's probably in bed, probably sleeping by now. I'm an actress also, so you've done commercials, I know. So what have you done, Carmen? You feel free to tell me either in an email, Jack the Fair Guy, Fair, Jack the Fair Guy at gmail.com, or here. I am getting ready to wrap it up, though, because we're coming up to 2.5 hours, and people have been with us the whole time. Jack, what a wonderful night with you. You make me laugh. I enjoy the Bible. Always take care, Jack and Karen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So many things to be grateful for. I've been fighting now to get more pills from Bristol Myers on my Camzyos. I should offer to run some commercials here for them, right? I think you can do that. Others do. So, but it's got to be worked out because my new insurance, to get help from Bristol Myers when you're in the Camzyos program, you still have to present a lot of the paperwork and stuff. And I'm not sure with this new insurance if they're going to cover any of it or some of it. So we're working all that out now. So I got 1 pill left and I ain't getting any for a while. I know I'm not. That's okay, though. I'm doing good. I'm very blessed. Better than I deserved, as Dave Ramsey says. I'm doing far better than I deserve. I tell that to the Lord every night. Thank him for his incredible grace and mercy, ask for forgiveness, and pray for the people that I love and the people that express prayer concerns here. I do that too. I loved the next gen. Good night, Elaine Peterson. Good night, Elaine. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much. Patrick Wilburn at the tail end. Hello, Patrick Wilburn. Watch the replay. Nice to see you here. Hope Christine is okay. Is she? I gotta put some color in this hair. I don't like it too light for me, making me look washed out. It was funny. I was watching. Do you watch Will Kane? Isn't he good? I was watching Will Kane the other night, and just the other day, and he reads emails at the end, and one person says, "You have the worst hair color on Fox." They all dye their hair, you know. You have not Trace Gallagher. You have the worst hair color on Fox, even worse than Lucas Tomlinson. He's just the poor weekend White House correspondent, and yeah, his hair is really dark. You know, I love it when Dr. Mark Siegel, Karen got me his book for Christmas. I haven't started it yet on miracles. It's down there. It's next after the book I'm reading right now, and I'm going to read an even better book right now. Sometimes all of a sudden he's a total redhead. I'm saying, Doc, you got to stick with a color here, and you can't do it and then let it go white and then start all over again. It looks really silly. I'm almost doing that myself here. 1980s She-Hulk is on YouTube. So what role do you play, Carmen Sylvia? Official. Yeah, I sure remember Gallagher, Neo, from the Mike Douglas show and lots of talk shows, breaking the watermelon, and that's what you can expect. They would literally give people plastic wrap in the first few rows of his live shows. They would, because they were close, you know. 47 watching right now. A little bit of Psalm 139 from the NIV. Oh Lord, you have searched me and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise, you perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you know it completely, O Lord. You hem me in behind and before. You have laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths of hell, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there, your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me and the light becomes night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for darkness is a light unto you. Good night, Robin Roman. So, I stayed away from politics tonight, but I can't close without saying I was so sad to see the events of today. I can't believe how we have, especially with the XYZ generation, some of them out there, you know, just so disrespecting authority and what have you. I can't believe that we don't have local police. So they finally did come, but the mayor of this Minnesota town where ICE is at is horrible, and immature, and that close to committing a crime himself. And what can we say about Governor Walz? He probably won't make it through the term, and good riddance to him and his wife. goodbye. But sorry that a 37-year-old woman lost her life. No, she was not trying to get away. She moved her car so she was going head on towards an officer and other bystanders that were standing there. He had to make a very quick decision that he had to stop this, and he went for his gun and he shot her in the head. Um, it would have never happened. You know, they had her almost. They were reaching in to get her to stop driving. She had stopped, but she pulled away from them and she drove right towards the officer and people that would not have been able to get away in time. And he did what he felt he had to do. He's been dragged before this in a separate incident. He's been dragged down the street. This stuff has got to stop happening. And when somebody like Walls says he's going to use his National Guard to come against ICE, that's another crime that he's committed. And I think we're going to find out he's in serious trouble. Good riddance. Horrible. Horrible. That's all I'll say. But I didn't want to not comment on that. Yeah. Oh, it sure is, and that's already affecting the Bob Joyce story, and that's going to affect what Bob Joyce the decisions he has to make because more and more people are going to see this. Who's Bob Joyce? But now there's he's Elvis, really? They're going to say that, and we got AI pictures of Bob Joyce with his arm around Priscilla, except they went for a younger Priscilla, and didn't use someone that it would make sense with, someone that's in their 70s. So this is just more attention on the Bob Joyce story. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what's going on. I'll start reporting on bobjoycemusic.com soon, I promise. Been in touch, and I'll be doing that. Thank you so much. And look at that. Sammy appears out of nowhere. He's a magician. These demonstrators should be jailed. I think they're over the line. There's peaceful protest, and and of course they aired this live on Fox, part of it, and the language was terrible, but Fox left it because it was a live event. You're either going to pull away. They have to pull the reporters out of there because they know they're from Fox. Even the great, what's his name there? He's a bodybuilder. He climbs mountains. What the heck is his name? He's got a face. He looks like a superhero. Mike. He has security around him, but security said it's getting too tight here. They're all trying to get in the shot, say terrible things and everything. He can't, they had to pull him out of there. This is the society we live in 2026. What can we say? Thank you, Todd Bradshaw. Thank you, Vinny. Thank you, Sammy, for $5 on the thanks button. Thank you so much. Pleasant dreams, says Neo. So we'll probably be on Sunday evening. I could put up a pre-recorded video if I feel moved, but I don't want to fake it. If I don't have anything, I don't have anything, but we will be looking. And we'll see you Sunday evening. Not too early, because, I got to spend time with Karen. So I would say it'd probably be 10 o'clock Sunday night, unless we come on really early, but that's too early for Australia if we come on too early. Thank you again, Jody Smith, for another $1 on the thanks button. Thank you. Well, you've just been such a blessing to me, and you helped me so much in 2025. And now I'm feeling that I can pay my February taxes that are going to come due. I always do it in mid-February with my tax lady. She's a peach. She does so much work and doesn't charge me all that much, really, a few $100s. And she has to deal with, everything that I throw at her. And I appreciate her. So till next time, big God bless you. Keep Katrisa in prayer. Keep Timmy, who's in a coma from a motorcycle accident. And then we have the issue of double knee replacement coming up and many other issues. So I think we ought to have a video here that just is for prayer requests that you can update it and people look at it. Remember to look at it. That's a good idea. My name is Jack Willard. This has been our 10th anniversary show of the channel, the virtual church of the disillusioned, the show that we began a few years back, Worldwide Ramblings. Bye bye now.